Hello friends, and welcome to CJoy Yoga. This class is going to be a little bit core and a little bit of upper back, and we'll have some twists in there because that's going to encompass both of those things for us as well. Have 2 bricks and 1 strap. If you don't have the bricks, you can probably get by without them, or find maybe 2 blocks of the same size or something that kind of resemble that. Right? And then the strap, though, it's going to be hard to do the exercises we're doing with the strap without them. You don't have a strap, maybe a belt or a rope, something that has a little bit of length to it. We're going to be moving above the head with that length, right? So gather those things and then come on back to your mat. You're going to have the brick off to the side, one of them, so that you can reach it easily from your back. And then go ahead and roll onto your back, and I'll meet you there. Take a moment, slide the shoulder blades down the back. Let the arms come out about 45 degrees from the side and turn your palms up so that you really get this big, beautiful, broad collarbone, right? And soften the shoulders, soften the tongue, the jaw, the brow, any of that stuff that's holding on. Now from there, push into the feet. Pick your hips up just about 1 inch or 2. Reach your buttocks flush towards the front of your mat and keep reaching it that way even as you roll back down, hopefully getting a little bit of low back space. And then extend the legs out to straight. Now, if when you extend the legs out to straight, you still have sensitivity in your low back or hamstrings, you can go back to the feet on the ground, feet a little wide, knees inversion. But if you can extend the legs, start working towards leg extension so you start to find the alignment of the spine, right? Instead of having to be in a rounded back, low back position. We want to work towards having the natural lumbar curve. Close the eyes, and let's just take about 5 breaths here. So let the belly muscles be so soft that when you inhale, fill all the way up. And then when you exhale, release all the muscles of the face, the neck, the throat. Inhale, filling up from the base of the belly to the top of the chest. And when you exhale, let that softness from the neck trickle through the shoulders, all the way down through the arms, the hands, and the fingers. Inhale. And this exhale, we're going to bring from the chest and the upper back all the way down through the torso, softening everything that we can to the hips. Inhale and fill up. Exhale, softening the hips all the way down through your legs to your feet and your toes. And then go ahead and take I'm yawning. Go ahead and take 1 more soft belly breath. If there's anything else that needs a little bit more space that feels restricted, when you exhale, release, soften that area. And our first move is going to be nice and small, or subtle, we'll call it. Feet on the ground with the knees bent. My toes are facing straight forward, right, or somewhere thereabouts. And then it's called cat-cow when our hands and our knees. What does that mean? Inhale is neutral right now. And when you exhale, when you push your low belly down, I'm going to move my arms so you can see my body a little bit, right? I push my low belly down to the earth and I flatten my low back down into it. And then with an inhale, I'm going to let my frontal hip points lift up towards the sky so I get a little bit of an arch. And you're not going to see a lot, right? Because it's a small movement. Exhale, the frontal hip points pull down, the low belly pulls down, and I flatten my spine down into the ground, just starting to wake that pelvis up. And as my frontal hip points reach up, I go ahead and lift them up. My low belly lifts up a little bit, and my low back arches. We're going to do 1 more of those. Exhale, go ahead and pull the belly down towards the ground, flattening the low back onto the earth. And inhale, frontal hip points lift. Shoulder blades down the back, finding all that length in the back side of the spinal column. And then come back to neutral, where you're neither tucked nor arched. Walk your feet out the width of your mat, tee your arms out to the side. Take an inhale, and with an exhale, the knees are going to head over to the right for windshield wiper twist. Inhale the knees up, and exhale the knees to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, knees to the right. This time the head might turn to the left if that feels okay in your neck. And inhale back up. Exhale, the knees to the left, the head might turn to the right. And I'm not turning much because I have the wrong hairstyle. I was silly and put braids in the back of my hair. Inhale, go ahead and come on up. So if it looks like I'm not doing it, that's why. Feel free to go in. Let the knees head to the right, maybe the head turns to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, knees to the left, head might turn to the right. And then go ahead and come on back to neutral. You're going to walk your feet back into hip distance. You're going to go ahead and you're going to take the feet together actually until they touch. Cross the right thigh all the way over the left until the thighs are touching. Tee the arms out, and with an inhale, reach the arms up, and your right elbow is going to go closer to the right leg than the left, right? Or below the left where I'm standing. Walk your hands down towards your inner shoulder blades. And then from there, you might just stay in a hug. You might bring the forearms up towards each other and wrap the hands around until the hands can grab. My right fingers are grabbing by my left thumb pad, right? And then keep the upper trapezius, the muscle that runs from the neck to the shoulders, soft, but maybe the elbows lift up until your elbows are directly above your shoulders and your forearms are parallel to the ground. Now take an inhale there, and you can just work this and do the shoulder stretch. Exhale, you might push the low belly down. We're not flattening the low back this time, but we're pulling the low belly in to support our legs coming up into what would be tabletop if my legs were separated, right? My knees above my hips, my heels directly out from the knees, my feet are flexed. Or eagle pose if you were standing and you know yoga. Now inhale, let the fingers and the toes move away from each other just a little bit. And then on your exhale, push your low belly down, flatten your low back into the earth, and let that lift you up. More than bringing the limbs together, let the low belly lift the body. Inhale, coming back down to neutral, we're going to call it. And exhale, pushing the low belly down, rounding the spine. And inhale, neutral. We're going to do this 2 more times. Exhale, push the low belly down. And again, it's not about lifting up high. It's about the low belly pushing down so much I lift the rest of the body because of it. Inhale, toes and fingers might move away from each other a little bit. Exhale, push the low belly down and allow the hips and the upper back to lift. Bring the feet down, bring the head down, unwind the arms, unwind the legs, walk the feet a little wide, lean the knees in, and take a soft belly breath. Inhale. What's restricted? What's tight? Can you let it go with the exhale? Walk the feet back into hip distance, or actually together till they touch. Cross your left leg all your way over your right till your thighs are touching. Tee the arms out, and then inhale, the left arm goes beneath the right, or closer to the left leg, I could say. Now I might just stay here and hug myself and walk my hands down. Everybody walk your hands down. And I might bring the arms up, forearms towards each other, wrapping my left fingers around until they can grab onto the palm of the right hand. Lift the shoulders away from the ears, away from the chest just a little bit till they're above the shoulders. Lift the elbows away from the chest until they're above the shoulders. Jiminy Christmas. Get the forearms parallel to the ground, right? And again, you can keep the elbows down if your upper trapezius are working. Take an inhale. Without flattening the low back, we pull the low belly all the way up through the crown of the head to lift the legs in a tabletop position. Now from there, with an inhale, I reach my toes and my fingers, or my heels, either way, away from each other a little bit. Exhale, push the low belly down to lift the body up. And again, don't let the arms do the work here, or the shoulders. Inhale, lay it back down. Let it really, truly come directly from your front abdominals. Exhale, push the low belly down, rounding the spine into the ground, and that lifts the shoulders and the hips lightly. Inhale, extend it out. And exhale, push the low belly down and round it up. Try to do 1 more of those. Inhale, extend it out a little bit. Exhale, pull the belly in, flatten the low back into the earth. Go ahead and bring the upper body down, bring the feet down, unwind the feet and the legs. Slide the shoulder blades down the back, feet a little wide, knees lean in, take a breath. Inhale, and exhale. So now we're going to do a little stretch, and then we'll do 1 more piece of core on the floor here. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to extend your legs out, right? Push your feet into an imaginary wall, and my toes are pointing straight up, so my legs are in what's called neutral alignment. Reaching the fingertips up to the sky, shoulders in the socket, so I sink them down a little bit. Keep the shoulder blades down the back, and then start to reach the arms overhead any amount. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to interlace my hands, and my index fingers are going to point behind me. And then I'm going to move my right heel to the right corner of my mat, and I'm going to cross my left ankle over that if it's available. If not, left foot just goes next to the right. Now wiggle your shoulders, just your shoulders a little over to the right. So if I was up above you and I looked down, you would look a little bit like a banana, except not so yellow. I do it every
every time in class. It's a terrible joke, but I think it's hilarious. And get the left rib cage and the left hip to soften down. If they lifted, they might not have for you, right? Different bodies, different things. Now push the left inner heel, everybody. Reach the fingertips away, everybody. And hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch in that left side body. I'm going to be really vague with that because I feel it in my armpit. I also feel it above my hip, and I even feel it down a little bit in my hip. And then go ahead and come back to neutral with the upper body. Uncross the legs, bringing the left heel to the left corner of the mat. Right ankle over the left heel, ankle. And then go ahead and wiggle the shoulders, just the shoulders, a little bit over to the left. And again, try to get into that arc shape. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and you're going to push your right heel further forward and reach the right fingertips or, the right arm a little further over to the left. And then from there, can you let the right ribs and right hip roll back down if they lifted on your particular body. Inhale into that right side body wherever you feel tension and tightness. And exhale, release it. Go ahead and bring the upper body back to neutral. Release the legs and have them hip distance, so bring them back in. Reach the arms to by the side. Soften the hips, soften the shoulders. 2 soft belly breaths. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to get some twists and some core, but we're not in a hurry to do it. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Now, put your feet on the ground, right foot and then left foot. Go ahead and take that brick on the short setting and put the short setting between the thighs up towards the knees. You're going to tee your arms out to the side, palms up or down. I'll give you the option. Just notice if the palms are down, we tend to use the arms instead of the side waist a little bit more. And take an inhale there, and then on an exhale, you're going to go ahead and you're going to pull your low belly towards the spine and up through the crown of the head. So I'm not flattening my low back. I still have my natural lumbar curve, but my low belly is activated. Inhale. And then with an exhale, you're going to go ahead and you're going to bring the legs into tabletop without the pelvis or the low back shifting an iota. My knees are above my hips. My heels are directly out from my knees. I'm pressing into my block a little bit. I'm going to take an inhale, and with an exhale, I'm going to let my knees head over to the right. Now I'm going to turn this way for a little bit so that if you need to see me, right? What would love to happen is the left knee would love to slide off of the right. So by squeezing the block and working my left hip, that's this hip, right? The opposite hip, a little further, I'm going to turn my side waist on a little more. And then go ahead and bring that back to neutral. And again, we're going to work slow on the first one, and then we'll work on the breath. As my knees head over to the left, I'm watching my knees, and I'm going to go ahead and squeeze into that block, or my imaginary block. And I reach my right hip a little further forward and up to the left so my knees stay stacked, my hips stay neutral. Inhale back to neutral. And here we go on the breath. Exhale, knees to the right. Turn the head to the left. Pin the left shoulder down. Work the left hip away from the floor. And inhale, come on back to the center. Exhale, knees to the left. Look to the right. Pin the right shoulder down. Work the right hip further, faster, farther. And inhale, bring that back. Squeezing into the block helps this tremendously. Exhale, knees to the right. Look to the left. Pin the left shoulder down and work that left hip further, faster, longer to the right and forward, quite honestly. Inhale, back to neutral. Last one. Knees to the left. Turn your head to the right. Pin the right shoulder down and work that right hip further, faster, longer. And inhale, bring that back to neutral. Remove the block. Put the feet on the ground. Walk the feet a little wider than the hips and lean the knees in. Arms by the side, take a second, inhale, and exhale. So hopefully we're feeling the side waist. I'm trying to bring you into your side waist right now and see if we can't start to recruit those muscles. So you can go right back to that same exact version, or you might go to the next one, which is a little intense, what I would call stage 2 of this, yeah? So you're going to do whatever one's appropriate for you. If you go to stage 2, the heels start to reach up to the sky. I like to bring in a spacer block between my calves. Again, when I press into that, it just helps my pelvis stay neutral, right? I tee my arms out, and then from there, right, I push my heels up. If I have tight hamstrings, I might need to bend my knees to keep my heels above my hips. And that's totally fine to work from here as well, right? Your body is not my body, so don't expect it to look like mine. Take an inhale, and with an exhale, let the knees head over to the right. And again, watch them the first round. Work your left hip a little further up and away and squeeze into the block. And inhale back to neutral. Exhale, when you head over to the left, again, we're going to pause there. We're going to hold for an extra breath. Work your right hip a little further, faster, and longer. Forward and to the left. Squeezing the block helps that. And inhale, bring that back. So now we'll intensify and we'll move on the breath. Exhale to the right. Look to the left. Pin the left shoulder down and head in as far as you can, but if you're making it to the earth, I can guarantee you're not in alignment. Inhale, come back up. I have yet to meet anyone who can do that. Yeah? Some people think they can, but they're not in alignment. Go ahead and head over to the left. Turn your head to the right. Soften your right shoulder down to the ground, or pin it down, I should say. Right hip moves further, faster, longer. And inhale, bring that back up. So we have 2 more of these because I'm going to point out another thing on this round. Legs to the right, turn your head to the left, pin the left shoulder down. Now here's the tricky part. When you come up, do not use your right arm, use your left waist. And that doesn't mean you have to pick your right arm up, but do you feel how much that takes the brunt of it? Right? And let the legs head over to the left. If you want to get a little tricky with it and see if you're true to the hip work or the sideways work, don't let that left arm do the work for you on the way down. You'll feel where that, right? And that wants to go into it. Inhale, bring that all the way up. Do not use the left arm, use the right side waist. So are you using your arm or using your core? And if you're using your arm, how helpful is that to your core? Head over to the right. It will always do the work for the core. The core won't learn to do the work, yeah? And inhale, bring that all the way back up. Don't use the right arm. Legs to the left, turn the head to the right. Work that right hip, and then don't use the left arm. Inhale, use the right side waist to bring it up. Bend the knees, release the block. Feet on the ground, feet a little wide, knees come together. And again, go ahead and just take a moment there. Inhale. And exhale. So go ahead and bring the legs into the body. Grab onto the backs of the knees. With an inhale, we can lift the feet and the hips a little bit. Exhale, pull the low belly in and try to rock yourself on up. We're going to meet in hands and knees. So from hands and knees, spread the fingers wide, my wrists under my shoulders, my knees underneath my hips, my tops of my feet, my shins push down. My friends with ankle issues, you can always roll up a blanket underneath the ankles, but start working that line. Try to push under and not keep your toes curled all the time, because again, you need that work. You need to stretch that area out in your body. So from there, finding neutral, buttocks bones back, chest forward, but I'm not dropping my ribs down. I'm not dropping into my shoulders, right? I'm finding nice length here. Cat-cow, the full version. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back to reach the chest forward. And then exhale, pull the belly up, round the spine up to the sky. And inhale into cat, shoulder blades down the back, reaching the chest forward, pushing into the fingers as well as the heel of the hand. Don't let it take the brunt. Exhale, pull the belly up. And I want you to really pay attention to this motion. We're going to come back to this in just a little bit. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back, reaching that chest forward. And exhale, pull the belly up, round the spine up to the sky. Feel how that pulls your tailbone and your chin towards each other naturally, right? Inhale, come back to your neutral. Here's another twist. Take the right arm and reach it up out to the right, and then take the right palm up as you reach it past the left inner wrist. Bring the right shoulder and the side of the head down. If you need to put a brick under there, you can. Reach the left arm forward, like downward dog, if that's okay. It can stay right here, right? But it might reach out. Now, soften the right shoulder away from the right ear. If you need to pick it up to do that, do that. And then soften the neck down and let it hammock down. Take a breath here. Move the buttocks bones back. And for my flexible friends, you probably have to pull your low-floating ribs up a little bit. I know I do. And flexible isn't the end-all be-all. Flexibility kind of sucks in some ways. Bring your left hand under your left shoulder. And inhale, go ahead and bring that back up to neutral, right? So now, find your neutral, wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale the left arm up and out to the left. And then you're gonna reach it past the right inner wrist and reach, 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 reach. Set down the left side of the head and the left shoulder softens away from the ears. Right arm might reach out like a downward dog arm. Pushing the shins down, low belly pulling up. Now, soften the neck and let the neck hammock down towards the ground. And again, some of my friends who are flexible, pull those low floating ribs in so you have a neutral spine, right? So that it's in a twist without being in sway back. Take an inhale and exhale there. Bring your hand underneath your shoulder, push the floor away, come back to neutral. A little more core from here, and then we're coming on up.
So from here, I want you to curl your right toes under and straighten that right leg behind you. Toes are still on the earth. Everyone wants to raise that leg immediately, but a lot of times we can find our alignment a little more readily from here, right? So with the toes on the earth, I want you to push the heel back, the right inner heel, and reach the chest forward. And do you feel how the abdomen slowly lifts up, lightly I should say, lifts up away from your t-shirt without you aggressively pulling it up to the spine? Right? The core usually doesn't have to work quite as hard as we make it work sometimes, and if we work it really hard, it can really screw up our pelvis and our organs and some things like that, right? So we work what we have to. Now reach the leg up without dropping the low belly down, the low floating ribs. And maybe that left arm reaches up, but maybe it doesn't. The hand can stay on the ground for this entire exercise. Take an inhale and lengthen, get as long as you can, and then with an exhale, pull the low belly up, round into cat, and then elbow and knee might move towards each other. But the cat is way more important to me than the limbs, yeah? Inhale, send it up, but don't drop the ribs or the floating ribs, belly down. Exhale, round into cat first and let that action start to pull the limbs in and then just finish the job, yeah? Inhale and send that all the way out, get long, and set that down. Curl your left toes under, reach your left leg back, straight position. Right, and as the heel pushes back and the chest reaches forward, the longer my body gets, the more my core, my low back, my side waist, my front waist, right, my upper back turn on without me efforting so much. Now inhale the left leg to hip height, no higher. You can stay right here. You never have to lift that right arm, but maybe you lift the right arm up, bicep next to ear. That one usually the ribs like to drop, so don't let that happen. Get longer. Push into two walls on either side to make space for you, as if they were closing in, right? That means that. Push it out. From the spine into cat, and sometimes I get a little caught up in words. Go ahead and bring the limbs together, or unformed ideas. Send it all the way out and get as long as you can. And exhale, pull the spine up, rounding the spine first and then bringing the limbs together. And then send it out without dropping the ribs and the belly down. And bring that down. 2 breaths in child's pose. Knees wide, big toes touch, buttocks to the heels. Leave the hips higher if you have knee issues. Soften the arms. Inhale into your back, rib cage, your upper back particularly. And exhale. So right between the shoulder blades, target that area. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and straighten the arms. Shoulder distance or wider if your shoulders are tight. Index fingers forward, pressing the palms down, forearms lifting up, triceps pinning in, all the usual suspects, right? But then I'm going to lengthen 2 things away from each other, right? I'm going to push my hands down and a little forward, and I'm going to reach my buttocks bones back a little bit to see if I can get some spinal length. Inhale up to hands and knees, slide the shoulder blades down the back, chest forward, but keep the ribs pulled up. Curl the toes under and keep the knees bent as you head back into downward dog. Since we're talking about the upper back today, if the legs are straight, they often take away from the length we can get on our upper back, right? So with the knees bent, push the hands forward and down. Reach the buttocks bones up and back. And then maybe you start to straighten the legs. But if your upper back starts to round forward, I'm not sure why you would do that, right? What is more important? Your legs or your spinal column? Now, you could give me an argument for the legs, but since the spinal column houses everything that you need to make the rest of your body work, I would say your spinal column is more important. So always paying attention to the spinal column, yeah? And then from there, you're going to go ahead and you're going to walk your hands back to your feet. Bend the knees a little bit. Grab onto your elbow points and hang in. I don't know if you've ever gone bowling. I was in a bowling league in 3rd grade, and I was pretty awesome. But most bowling balls are about 13 to 16 pounds, right? So if you've gone bowling, you've probably held the weight of your head in your hands. So let that head be heavy. Let the arms be heavy. And just soften in. Put your other forearm in front. And 2 breaths here. Inhale into your back body. And exhale. Inhale into your back body. And exhale. Now put your hands on your shins, shoulder blades down the back, reaching the chest forward. We're going to go into a twist. You're going to bring your right hand on your outer left leg. Left hand comes onto the sacrum, palm down. I inhale and I reach my chest forward and I lengthen. And then I'm going to start to pull my right elbow to the right, my left elbow back behind me to come into a little twist here. The right hip would love to drop down and the right knee would love to jut forward.
Work the right hip back. That's why your left hand is on your sacrum, to try to keep the sacrum neutral. And then once you're feeling pretty neutral and the low belly's pulled in, maybe that left arm reaches up to the sky. I shouldn't say up to the sky, out of your shoulder joint, wherever your shoulder happens to be. Mine happens to be up towards the sky-ish. Take an inhale, and exhale, soften back down. Take a breath in softness. Inhale, and exhale. Hands on the shins, shoulder blades down the back, reaching that chest forward. Pull the low belly in a little bit. Left hand, outer right leg. The right hand, palm down on the sacrum. Don't let that sacrum go anywhere. Inhale the chest forward, lengthening the spine. Left elbow bends to the left to twist me towards the right. I work my right elbow behind me, right? Right shoulder lifts, and I might reach that right arm up out of that shoulder joint. And on this side, you can tell I can't twist as far. So my hand is not reaching anywhere near the ceiling on this one. Inhale. And exhale, bring that down. Inhale, come halfway up. Reach the buttocks, bones back, reach the chest forward, and feel the low belly fire up a little bit, right? Pull up lightly. Hands on the hips, elbows up. Inhale. Whew. We made it to standing, people. Woohoo! Now, in the camera angle, I'm not sure if you're going to get much of my overhead, but you'll get most of it, hopefully. You're going to take that strap, belt, towel, etc. Right? You're standing in what is called Tadasana, in mountain pose. So your knees are facing straight forward. For most of us, that means our toes are too, but some of us have little things going on, so knees are more important than toes, right? And I will let the weight shift back into my heels a little bit so the crown of my head can reach up and I can elongate the front and the back side of my body. And then I'm going to inhale. My hands are a little wider than shoulder distance. I inhale that up. And then when I'm at the top, I soften my shoulders down away from my ears, and I'm going to go as wide as I need to on that strap to try to reach my arms all the way back behind me until the strap comes down towards my buttocks. Release one end of the strap. I like my non-buckle end personally. Strap is in front of you again. And again, inhale, reach those arms up. Soften the shoulders down. Exhale, go as wide as you need to. My shoulder injury friends, you can always just have that one arm come to shoulder height and still work the same action and hopefully get some space in the front of that shoulder. Release the strap and bring it around front. So now we're trying to keep the arms straight. Inhale, reach the arms up. But we're also trying to have the shoulders roll back at the same time. So watch right now, one shoulder in your body. One shoulder would like to lift or move back before the other in order to make this easier for the body, right? Try not to let it happen. One more time and then we're out of here. So the other thing, and don't do this one with me, just watch for a second. Anatomically, with bodies, when arms start to move up, the rib cage would like to lift up with it because of the muscular attachments, right? So can you keep that down? And some people naturally keep it down quite well. Some of us, we extend the ribs forward, and then we never get more open in our shoulders because all we get is the ribs flaring out and we get cut into our low back, right? So we want to isolate the shoulders. So now you're going with me. Inhale, arms are straight. I have both shoulders moving back at the same time. One's not hiking. And also, I'm not letting my ribs puff out in front of me as I bring those arms back behind me. Go ahead and take that strap over your right shoulder. We got one more piece here, and then we'll do a couple of roll-ups and roll-downs, and we'll call it a day. So go ahead and reach the arms, let's reach the left arm out, thumb down, and reach back. And you're going to grab onto that strap with your palm facing the wall behind you. Reach the right arm forward, turn the palm behind you, and reach back and grab onto the strap. Now with the strap, right, I can go ahead and I can pull apart just lightly. I'm going to try to bring that left arm in towards the face and up towards the sky. And when some of us do that, the left rib cage, or the right rib cage, sorry, right arm, if I said that incorrectly. The right rib cage would love to go, woo! Again, I'm not isolating in my shoulder, right? I'm taking it in the rib cage. So I'm going to keep that down so my muscles elongate instead of the muscles pulling my bones, right, out of place. And then I'm going to take that left arm, and I'm going to try to flatten that left shoulder blade onto the back by working my shoulder back behind me and lifting the armpit flesh up just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and take a big old breath from there. Inhale.
And exhale. Go ahead and release that down and switch the strap to your left shoulder. Since I was half mirroring and half not, and I don't have a student to look at, I think it's supposed to be on your right shoulder, right shoulder. Is that correct? No. Your left shoulder. Do it on the other shoulder. Reach the opposite arm out, turn the thumb down, reach back and grab onto the strap. And then reach the left arm, I'm pretty sure it's the left arm, reaches up, palm behind you, grab the strap. Pull the strap apart lightly like a piece of paper. Get the left arm to move in towards the body, that's called external rotation. Get the left elbow to point up towards the sky without the rib cage flaring, right? And see if you can isolate that for your armpit line, I call it. Now get that right shoulder to work back behind you and try to flatten your right scapula, your right shoulder blade onto the spine behind you. Again, this is another one where my rib flaring friends, I'm in your school, we take it in the ribs often, right? So if we want to isolate it in the shoulder girdle, we keep all of that nice and neutral. Inhale. And exhale, release that out. You can take that strap and put it down on the side. And then we're going to do just a couple of roll-ups and roll-downs, and that's going to be class for today. So I don't teach these very often, right? We usually come up with a straight spine, but we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get a little bit of spine, hopefully mobility. If you have bulging discs or anything going on in the low back, you may choose to have the flat back version. That might be better for your back. I can almost guarantee it is, right? But if you don't have injuries and this feels okay, you're going to let your chin tuck into your chest, and then let your shoulders round forward, your arms get heavy, and you're trying to articulate the spine. Like if you would come up in a bridge, it's the same thing, right? And then the mid back, and then the lower back, I have my knees a little bit bent, and I soften into wherever my edge happens to be. And then I'm going to inhale, I'm going to tuck my tailbone, one of the only times you will hear me say that. And go ahead and see if you can get your buttocks to reach down and start to roll up the spine and stack the spine one vertebrae at a time, straight legs at the top until the crown of my head reaches up out of my heels, reaching down. One more time. Chin tucks towards the chest, shoulders soften forward. I'm rounding my cervical spine, and then my thoracic spine, mid to upper back, and then my lumbar spine, my low back. And then my sacrum gets into the mix. I'm bending my knees. And then I'm going to reverse it. My sacrum starts to come into place. And then my low back stacks one vertebrae on top of the other. And then my thoracic spine. And then my cervical spine. Heels reach down. Crown of the head reaches up. Close the eyes. Bring the hands together at the chest. Take an inhale. Exhale. Bow the head lightly, gently towards the chest, towards the heart center. Push into the hands to slide the shoulders gently. This is all super gentle. The shoulders gently move back. And then move the shoulder blades gently down the back, not together, down towards the buttocks, right? And then let the bottom tips of the shoulder blades just lift the chest lightly up towards the thumbs. Inhale. And exhale, take one moment to be grateful for one thing here. Take this extra breath to do that. And then inhale is going to lift the head. Exhale brings the hands to the thigh, or to the opposite. Inhale, open the eyes. And namaste, friends. Hopefully you feel like you have a little freedom through that core area all the way into the upper back, and maybe you can breathe a little deeper. I don't know, crazy, yo. Have a great day.